Welcome to SML Total Access, where we break down news, predictions, and more in our Madden League. Now, let's get fired up for SML football.
Hello and welcome back to SML Total Access. I am Primetime 000, joined by Matt and Dan. How you doing, fellas?
Pretty good. Enjoying the holiday.
Yeah, pretty good. I haven't lost a game yet, so I'm undefeated right now.
Feels good.
Nice.
And it's Memorial Day, so it's a Memorial Day edition. And QP lost today, so we got a good episode lined up for everybody. First down, though, season 63, done, over with. Dump is the champion. What's your guys' thoughts on season 63? I know we had some dynamic episodes of Total Access where we talked about all sorts of stuff and who had pressure and who didn't and who was under pressure, and Dump won it all. Matt, I guess we'll start with you.
Yeah, honestly, and this is going to sound maybe a little cheesy and maybe people won't believe me, but I think it went status quo as far as the end result. I think we all knew the powerhouse teams were in the AFC, especially with the Bengals and the Chiefs. Really, I thought it came down to, can either you or Dan beat one of those teams? And neither of you could. Prime, you lost to the Chiefs in a good one, and Dan lost to the Bengals in a good one as well. And, I felt like the AFC Championship, I joked about it in chat, but it was a slight joke that was the championship, or that was the Super Bowl. We'll talk about Larry in a bit, but he just doesn't have the team. He doesn't have the abilities. He doesn't have the team. I feel like unless Doink or Meats comes out of the NFC with the set feet lead, and they're going against the Bengals, who I think the Bengals are the best roster I've ever seen in Madden before. Of course, this is the first year we've had the training devs, and that's probably why. But, hey, I think it went as planned. It came down to the Bengals and the Chiefs, and I think whoever won that game was going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I want to give Dump all his credit. He does what he has to do. He played smart. I know against me, he didn't make a single mistake. I don't think he made a mistake against Larry. I didn't really catch the wine game, but for having a great team, he still got to make the plays, and want to give him all the credit in the world for that. I also think we're really at the point now where, man, it just feels like some of these teams and the way that they're structured and the guys that they got, if it's one of those games where the other team's getting pressure or the offensive line is dominating and the other guy's getting 3-4 yards before he's even getting touched, it almost feels helpless. And I think we're getting to a spot where the parity now in the SML is at an all-time. I mean, we joked about Prime not making playoffs, but Q missed playoffs. You look at guys are making runs, and it's good. It's fun. It makes it intriguing. It's entertaining. But it's also can get frustrating because, I know Prime and I just played a game. We both just felt like our offensive line just got manhandled, and we were under pressure the whole game. And it's like, man, how do you now play Madden when this stuff's going on? So, for whatever is it, 6 seasons into it, pushing the summer here now, I'm actually kind of intrigued, just still trying to figure out this game and have fun with it. So I think we're still in a good spot.
Yeah, for me, it's a different kind of challenge. In season 63, great season. A lot of fun playoff matchups, games commentated. Always fun. We had a lot of different guys in the booth, which makes me happy. And I shout out to those guys. So when you start a cycle, it's always, I feel, more, you're playing more with the base rosters. And yes, there's overpowered rosters and so forth, but later in the cycle, more so. And I feel like at the beginning of a cycle, it's more prime versus straw. But then it becomes, in Dan's case and mine to an extent, more so Dan's, but depending if you're playing the Chiefs or the Bengals or one of those elite teams, it's like, okay, yes, I'm playing a great player, but how do I beat this Bengals team? And so it kind of tweaks your mind a little bit, and it makes you have to think in different ways, and you have to play in different ways than maybe you're used to or want to, but it's a challenge. That's why it's Memorial Day. So my favorite SML memory is still beating a super team like 2-3 cycles ago with Andrew Luck. Last game I ever played with Andrew Luck as a Colts, and it was just such an awesome feeling to win a big game against one of those elite super teams. It's possible. You just got to be on your A game, and they might have to slip up a little bit themselves. Hey, second down though. trash talk in the SML, specifically Larry and Dump went at it in chat the day of the Super Bowl. What was your guys' thoughts on that? And Larry didn't, attend the Super Bowl post-game presser. There were some words exchanged after that then too. Dan, tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of this. I'm a big fan of the little bit of jabbing back and forth where you can still do it with some integrity, or at least, as I say, with a smile on your face. And I thought those guys did it. I think Larry got caught up in it, probably because Q and Bean kind of egged him on a little bit. And to Dump's credit, he was in it, and then he backed out. He knew, hey, I got a big game, and I'm going to let the game do the talking. I don't have a big problem with Larry not showing up to the post game because he had an excuse. He said he had to get running. I'm going to take him at his word for that. But overall, I would say you got to show up. You got to man up when you put yourself out there, win or lose. You can think you played bad or he got the breaks, but you still got to man up. You got to face the music, and I think Larry will. I don't see any reason why Larry's going to run away from that. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. But hey, I'm all for it. I love it. Let's keep it going. Let's have fun. Keep talking trash with a smile on your face.
Man.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt as far as the post-game interview goes. I've played games where, it's right up against bowling league, and I literally I barely have time to really do anything afterwards except for lock my house. So if he's telling the truth, good for him. We'll never know if he's not. So we'll see how that goes down the line. But with trash talk itself, the thing is there's a couple of rules, right? You don't make it personal. If you need to have a sense of when it's getting a little bit too far, you need to either dial it back or stop. But number 3, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, what makes a good trash talker is the ability to take the trash talk, and especially in defeat. What I didn't like out of Larry, what I don't like to see out of people is you talk the trash, which took guts in the first place because you were at a huge roster and ability disadvantage. I don't know why his confidence was so high to talk that level of trash, but you can't come in and say, oh, if he didn't get this break or if this didn't happen or that. No, you lost the game. Look, there's stuff happens in every game. It's the way it is. Go in, take your L. He beat me. If he wants to make the memes about stepbrothers or with the Simbardian, he gets to do that, right? You both talked the trash. You need to just take the L and move on, not pick at excuses or even double down and talk more trash. You lost the game. Let it go.
Yeah, that's good. I don't give Larry the benefit of the doubt, actually. I'm going in on hard at Larry right now. Would he have attended the post-game presser if he won the Super Bowl? Probably. The truth is, I think if you talk that much trash pregame, and Larry's a quiet guy, and I think he had some help with some content he posted from a couple guys. But you can't go into the game, talk that much trash, lose, skip the post-game presser, then say the other guy got lucky in a game where you just kind of got spanked on, and then you double down the next day after that. To me, Larry for about 5 hours on Super Bowl Sunday, he looked like the next great trash talker in the SML because he was Joe Cool, he was smooth. Dump would say something and he would have something slick to say back, and it's like, and the key to a great trash talker is they never seem phased. Even if they are phased, they don't even look phased. He didn't even look phased. After the game, and I compared it already, he looked like Conor McGregor after he lost to Dustin Poirier. He's laying in the octagon with a broken leg. He had just lost the fight. McGregor should not have talked trash at that point, and he's still yelling at Dustin, saying, "Hey, I'm talking to your wife in her DMs." Like, he's still talking. Like, why are you talking at that point, Larry? Don't do it at that point. Larry, I think, let the trash talk get to his head in the game, before the game, because he's naturally a quiet guy. And then after the game, he ruined his shot of being the best trash talker in the SML. Now he's got some damage control, and he's got to earn that back. But I believe in Larry. He's a good player, and he still is. He's quick. He's got a quick tongue, so I think he could turn it around. Let's move on. Third down. Interesting topic here. It got brought up in our draft party. I think Bomber brought it up maybe. Is there an alternative to league suspensions? Some people say that, hey, what do suspensions matter if they keep happening, or if one guy gets 5 or 10 suspensions or so forth. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think there needs to be an alternative to league suspensions. I think there is tangible proof that the suspensions don't exactly work. You see those same offenders in a lot of the cycles, multiple times in a cycle or across multiple cycles. So I don't know if they just don't get it, they just don't care, or if the punishment isn't enough for them to change. I think we made a really good recent change with, if you are suspended or you take a some sort of negative mark for spamming, we could take the dev away. I think that's really good because, again, if you spam a guy, like, so let's say you're running back, you just spam the crap out of him against someone, and you get a 1-game suspension, but at the end of the season you get the dev. It's like, okay, that was worth it. I got my 4, 5, 6 touchdowns, my 300 yards. That suspension didn't really hurt me because I got 3 games worth of stats. But taking away that dev, that's a little bit scarier. I love that we've taken away draft picks for repeat offenders. That's a pretty harsh mark when you're talking about first or second round picks. Where I would like to see is on the evals, because while that might not show in September through December, etc., when it comes this time of the year when we're starting to look towards Madden 25 or the next Madden, and the evals are starting to come out and people see where they're at, they might think, oh man, I'm really far down there because I'm a cornball. Man, if I could clean that up, I would have had a better team. So I think something needs to go beyond suspensions, and I think it needs to be a multi-layered approach where there's some sort of immediate impact, but then also maybe the eval impact down the road.
Dan?
Yeah, there clearly has to be something, and I don't even know if eval is the right answer, because some guys are even looking to pick lower in the draft because they want to pick divisions more than teams. I really think draft picks and knocking development is probably the next step, and that is, I mean, and we've seen that here. I mean, hey, you get a dev that's like, hitting the lottery, and if you lose that, not only lose that, but I would also recommend that whoever loses it, that player can never get it back again. Because if they lose one, they're thinking, oh, I had crappy abilities anyway, so I'll just get another dev. But if you say that person's like done, like they can't ever get dev'd, man, you completely can cripple, some teams. You look at, in the NFL, if someone, drafts a quarterback high and they don't ever develop, that kills them for 2-3 seasons. I mean, that's kind of what you can almost do to an owner if they're not getting it when it comes to some of these, violations and stuff. So I think that's a whole new world that we should start investigating and we should look at. And, if you're some of those repeat offenders out there, I think you need to take a hard look in the mirror.
Yeah, I think to your guys' points, there's a couple layers to it. About 70% of the league does not like getting their evals docked. I'm going to say 80% of the league does not like getting their evals docked. Why? Because if you see my messages every season when I post the freaking evals and someone has a score they don't like, then you would know. Now, there's an outlier. Just like people don't like getting suspended. Nobody likes getting suspended and put in league updates chat. We've done a better job with suspensions this cycle than we ever have with being transparent with rule breaks, posting links of what they've done wrong, and I think we're in a better spot with that. But to Matt's point, I think the draft picks is a big deal too. But to Dan's point, I think he is onto something with the stripping devs away and also not allowing it back for as long as that player's on that person's roster. And not would that be a first-time offense? No. Could we possibly create a progressive discipline policy where, maybe you start with a player suspension, a draft pick, and then a dev trait loss or something? Maybe. I've seen leagues do progressive discipline policies in the past, and I've never been one much for them because oftentimes, and people always want to and it's good to be fair and treat every situation as fair as you can. But you have to understand, not everybody is equal. People have different pasts. Some people have earned grace. Some people haven't. Some people just deserve to have the hammer swung within 5 seconds, and some people don't. So you could have a rough guideline of that, and maybe that's something we could explore. But suspensions, discipline is always the most difficult thing for any commissioner or admin team to handle. It's the same reason why the NFL, $15 billion with a B, where people actually get paid to do what they do and not lose money to do it as a hobby. They can't even get the suspensions right. The NBA can't get the suspensions right. You see guys in the NFL get suspended for 2 games for beating a woman and then a season for smoking pot. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. So we'll never get it right. We'll never be perfect, but we'll keep trying to improve it. And I'm always open to suggestions in private to hear it out. But it's a growing. It's always a growing thing, and it's part of league development, and we'll work to getting it better. But
yeah, and what I will say is, just so just to be transparent, Prime doesn't just if there's a violation, he just doesn't flip a coin and go, oh, let's just suspend him for 1 game. Oh, it's tails 2 games. There's a deep discussion as to, okay, who did it? What have they done before? What have we done? What's the precedent for this kind of? There's a long discussion about what we do. We don't just make that decision out of nowhere and just we'll just let's make it 1 game or 3 games. That's not how it works. There are people that will probably, if they were on this show, they would say, suspensions, boot them, just get rid of them.
Yeah.
And I do think we've seen that before, right? Prime, you've had a short leash with some guys. And I do think that that's an alternative, right? Just get them out of here. This is the best league out there. And it's like, you don't know what you have until it's gone. But you could also look at maybe they are a good fit for the SML, just not right now. And maybe they need that demotion down to primer to work on some things. And then maybe they get brought back up later. So there's a lot of different alternatives that could come into play here other than just on the field kind of things. Yeah.
Good stuff. Hey, guys, it's Memorial Day. Actually, 2 hours left here as we're recording this podcast. But 4th down, it's Memorial Day in the SML. We're remembering the icons of the Sim Madden League. Which SML member do you wish could return, or which SML member do you wish was back in chat for a day or for a season or a cycle or something? And Dan, we'll go with you.
Yeah, I got one guy I want back, but I don't want him in chat. I don't want him here for a season. I don't want him here for a cycle. I just want 1 game against him. Dookie. I want Dookie back. I want to play that 1 game again. I want to redeem myself. I don't want to have to live with that lasting thought that because he got booted, but I think before the second season, whatever, was finished, so he couldn't get back to the Super Bowl. And man, I want to make right the run commit fat finger blunder that I had. So man, I would love to bring Dookie back for 1 game.
That's good, man.
Yeah, there's some good choices here, and probably some that I've forgotten. So I'd have to apologize there. I mean, someone like Grams comes to mind. I mean, an active Grams and a competitive Grams back when he actually played Madden and had the time for it. He was a really good guy, really good user. When he was in chat with his charcuterie boards or whatever you call those stupid things, and just being rich and posting himself in the bath. I mean, I don't know. Grams was just a very genuinely nice guy, and I would love to just meet him. I would love if he came to a meetup, even if he wasn't in the league. RD's another guy who I played Madden with for a very, very long time, and his circumstances for leaving the league are out of his control, obviously. So I'd love if that never happened and he could still be here. But for me, man, I was sharing links in chat, and I went down this old Twitter road, and I was sitting at this Mongolian barbecue on my lunch break, and I was literally laughing out loud in the booth all by myself. Bring back Field General. I mean, the tweets that dude was putting out. I mean, if you just go to Twitter and type Adam Schefter SML, read the timeline and try not to laugh. It's an impossible challenge. Give me Field.
It is funny, man. That's a good one.
That is a good one. I got 2 or 3 Grams. Peak Grams right before COVID hit. Madden 19, Madden 20. He was such a joy, and obviously he got busy and he was jumping different jobs, and he had to life change, but which sucked him away from the game. ZZ the Great at his peak before he had to change jobs and situations. He was a fun guy to be around. Fuzzy McGee. I don't know if you guys know who Fuzzy McGee is. Fuzzy was an admin here. Such a good guy. I talked to him on the phone like 2 weeks ago. He shares pictures of his kids. Just great guy. But I got to go field. I got to go field. It's my brother. We started this league 9 years ago. I remember when we started the SML, I would go through and I would message, literally, I would go on forums and I would message not tens, but hundreds of people. Because back in the day, everyone's phone number was on forums. So how I'd find members is I would text them all one by one, an individual text. I'd have a pre-canned message. And if they didn't have their number, I'd find their PSN and I'd PSN message them, type in their PlayStation name. And that's how we kind of stayed alive and kept the wolves at bay. But I just remember we lived, with my parents at that point. I was 18 or 19 and I would play a game and he would come in my room and he'd watch me play, or then I would watch him play, or we would talk about it. We'd talk about how we were going to beat Jonesy at the time or what we did wrong. And it was before streaming was really a thing because my internet sucked. So Field would update people in chat with what was happening in the game, and people would flip out based on Field's text messages. And it was just simpler times. It was obviously the league was very new and it had flaws, but I'll look back at it with it was a fun time. It was, and always fun to do something with your brother, and it's grown to a spot where I couldn't even imagine it would grow to. Let's move on to the extra point. Matt 5. Matt, what you got, buddy?
Yeah, it's the end of May, so I feel like doing a preseason top 5 is just going to be the same dudes over and over, right? So we'll hold off on any team rankings until we get a few more games played. So I thought, hey, second down, trash talk. We had a lot of trash talk in chat recently with the Super Bowl. Let's go with our top 5, my top 5 trash talkers in the league. I'm going to start off at number 5, which might come as a surprise, and I'm sure I forgot somebody. I know when this comes out, someone's going to say, oh, you forgot this person. Oh, yes, I know. Number 5, we've got Colt.
Yeah.
He's kind of a sneaky one, right? Colt, what? No. Colt will he will talk trash. He doesn't care if you make a joke about the stories he's told or anything. He'll take the joke, but man, this guy, whether he wins 2 games or he actually gets to 7, he will fire it off. He doesn't care, and I respect that. He's like, hey, I got confidence in myself. I think I can win every game, and I wish I had that kind of confidence. At number 4, I've got he's not going to be this guy after he hears this, but non-butthurt QP. When QP is not, sulking and being emo, he can give out the best trash talk. It's really funny. He's actually really funny. QP is one of the funniest guys in the league, especially in person, but also some of the stuff he types in chat. Him and Gutta are absolutely hilarious.
Oh, Gutta's funny.
I wish I was at the meetup when they were both together, because just their exchanges themselves is pure comedy. But non-butthurt QP is at number 4. At number 3, kind of along the lines of Colt, but he's a lot more active, is Meats. Meats has by far, and it's not even a debate, the thickest skin in the league. If this was a thickest skin ranking, he would have all 5 spots. There's not a close second, close third, or close whatever. Meats gets crapped on ever since I've been here, and he just always takes it in stride, and he can dish it out. I mean, it doesn't matter if you smoked that guy. He will find a stat somewhere that makes him better than you, even if it's that one time. So I'm going to give it to Meats, him and Tiny in their battles. And actually the NFC East itself has a really good trash talking camaraderie there. At number 2, I've got Dan. I mentioned that my number 1 thing my 2 biggest things for trash talk: don't make it personal. Dan never does.
Never does.
And you need to be able to take it. You need to be able to take it. You have to take it back in the moment, but you also have to take it back if you lose. And Dan does a really, really good job of navigating that. I think if anybody wanted a tip from Dan, not offense, but maybe trash talk, that would be something that you could go to Dan for. And number 1 for along the same reasons is really Dan's partner in crime in the trash talk. And I know it's weird and everybody hates when you put Prime at number 1 of something, but Prime will go at anyone at any time. It doesn't matter if the guy has been here for 5 minutes. He will absolutely just slay him. And I think it's great. I think Prime and Dan have the best trash talking back and forth in the entire league and have had that for a long time. So I'd love to hear some other lists. If people listen to this, just throw some other good trash talkers in there, because I think it's fun. I think it's a really tough trait to really narrow down. So you guys that are good at it have.
You know what's funny about what you just said there, though? You trying to make fun of my offense. Out of the three of us, I probably got the best offense out of TA right now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I got the best offense out of this group right here.
Yeah, we'll see about
Prime
that.
can't score a touchdown, and Matt doesn't have a quarterback and can't throw. So I mean, come on, I got the best offense out of the group right now.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You averaged 15 points a game last season, you bum.
Silence. Oh,
bum.
He doesn't even have anything to say.
Hey, for me,
have to say because his last 3 games he hasn't scored an offensive touchdown.
Hey, it's been ugly, so I got nothing to say to that. It's been bad, but we'll be back, baby. We always will, and we play Pauly next week. We're on to Detroit, and we'll play good. I just want to real quick.
Are you guaranteed? Wait. Are you guaranteeing a win first
against my friend Pauly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guarantee you win against Pauly.
Because that's the old pride. That's the old
pride. I guarantee you win against Pauly.
Gunslinger. We need someone that's just not only guarantee to win.
No, hold on. I'll say it. Just hold on a second. Not only do I guarantee you win against Pauly, I guarantee you win by 17. AR is going to have 3 passing touchdowns, 300 yards, and Jonathan Taylor is going to have at least 1 rushing touchdown. Colts are going to score over 28 points. I forgot how much I said I was going to win by, but I think I said 17.
17, yep.
Mark it all down in chat so I don't forget I said this. So then when I play, then I'm going to win by that much. It's done. It's written in red words. That's all.
I got it.
That's all I got. That's all I got on Total Access, boys. Have a wonderful day. Happy Memorial Day. And honor Memorial Day, Trash Talking Prime is back.